So today I am going to deliver a lecture on the Fresnel half period zone. So today's my presentation includes types of the diffraction and Fresnel half period zones, and lastly I will discuss about the Fresnel the division of plane wavefront into a half period zones. So there are the two types of diffraction. One is the Fresnel class of diffraction and second is the Fraunhofer class of diffraction. Then there are the two types of diffraction. First is the Fresnel diffraction. So in any diffraction phenomenon, there are the three main components. One is on the left hand side there is a source of light. Then there is a diffracting obstacle or aperture which is in the middle, and lastly to the right of that there is a screen. There is a screen. So in Fresnel diffraction, source of light or screen or both are at a finite distance from the diffracting obstacle. डायफ्रैक्टिंग ऑब्स्टेकल से जो सोर्स ऑफ लाइट का और स्क्रीन का जो डिस्टेंस रहेगा वो फाइनाइट रहेगा, फिक्स रहेगा. And for observing the Fresnel diffraction, no lenses are necessary. Then second type of diffraction is the Fraunhofer diffraction, and in Fraunhofer diffraction, both source of light and the screen are effectively at a infinite distance from the diffracting obstacle, and this condition is achieved by the using the two convex lenses, one for the incident rays parallel before it falls, and another is to focus the diffracting parallel rays of light on the screen. The incident wavefront is the plane wavefront in case of the Fraunhofer class of diffraction, and for observing the Fraunhofer diffraction, two lenses are necessary. So now we see the Fresnel half period zone. So this topic is very lengthy, but it is not too much difficult one. So Fresnel put forward the half period zone method to find the intensity of light at a point due to a wavefront. What is this? Fresnel put forward the half period zone method. This is the one particular method to find the intensity at a point due to the wavefront. This method is based on the assumptions. There are some three assumptions of this Fresnel half period zone method. So first, the given wavefront is divided into the number of circular regions. What is there? There is a plane wavefront, and that plane wavefront is divided into the number of small circles, small regions, and each region is called the zone. Each region is called the zone. These zones are such that there is a phase difference of pi or a path difference of lambda by 2 or time period difference of t by 2 or half period between the light waves reaching the point P from the end of the zone. So they are called the half period zone. These annular regions are called the half period zone. Circular regions are called the half period zone because that the phase difference between the light waves reaching the point P from the end of the zone is pi or path difference of lambda by 2 or time difference of t by 2, half period. This time period divided by 2, half period before reaching the point P. and hence these zones are called the half period zones. So sometimes the question can be asked that why the Fresnel half period zones, uh, why the Fresnel zones are called the half period zones? Because time period, time difference between the two waves is the t by 2 half period, or path difference between the light waves reaching the point P is the phase difference of pi, or path difference of lambda by 2. And the resultant intensity at a point P is determined by the combined effect of all the secondary waves reaching there from the various zones. And the resultant amplitude of the displacement at a point depends upon the three factors: resultant intensity, resultant amplitude, means resultant intensity of the displacement at a point depends upon the three factors. First is the distance of the point from the zone. Second is the angle between the normal and the line joining the pole of the wavefront to that point, and the third one is the uh, on the area of the zone. So you can see here in this slide I have shown the point P, which is at a large distance from the half from the wavefront. So consider a plane wavefront ABCD. Here in this slide, ABCD is a plane wavefront at any instant obtained from the monochromatic source of light of wavelength lambda kept at infinity. Where is the source of light? Source of light is placed at the infinity distance, very large distance, so that all rays are coming out are nothing but the wavefront is nothing but a plane wavefront. We must have a plane wavefront. Let it moves from left to the right. Plane wavefront is moving from left to the right. Let P be the point at a distance P from the wavefront. At how much distance the point P is there? So it is at a distance P from the wavefront. We shall find the intensity, resultant intensity at the point P from the point resultant intensity. We will obtain the resultant intensity at the point P. How we can obtain the resultant intensity? The waves which are reaching from these different parts of the wavefront, the light waves coming out from the different part of the wavefront is reaching the point P, and therefore there at the point P there is a interference, and because of that interference, whether we get the constructive interference or destructive, depending upon that, the resultant amplitude at the point P depends. Okay. Now from the point P we draw PO. From this point P we draw the PO, this PO distance, PO line normal to the plane wave. The point O is the pole of the wavefront for the point P. So with respect to the point O is nothing but the pole of the wavefront. Pole परपेंडिकुलरली इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है प्लेन वेवफ्रंट को, तो उसको कहा जाएगा पोल ऑफ द वेवफ्रंट विथ सेंटर एज ए पी, विथ सेंटर एज द पी एंड with center as a P. This is the center, which is the point with center P and radii B. This is the B. Then B plus lambda by 2. Here B plus 2 lambda by 2, then b plus 3 lambda by 2, and so on, and lastly b plus n lambda by 2. We draw the spheres. We draw the sphere. ये P पॉइंट को क्या कंसिडर करना है? सेंटर कंसिडर करना है. और रेडियस कौन सा रहेगा? पहला रेडियस रहेगा B. Second radius is the B plus lambda by 2. Third radius is the B plus 3 lambda by 2, and so on up to B plus n lambda by 2. Okay. So we draw the spheres. The intercept of these spheres on the wavefront are the concentric circles.
सर आवाज नहीं येत आहे.
अभी हेलो हेलो अभी आ रही क्या आवाज? हेलो हेलो अभी आ रही? हेलो आवाज? हाँ. Okay. So here what we have to do, we have to draw the circles. Different circles, spheres are to be drawn so that we get the first sphere, then second circle, third circle, and so on. We get the different circles. The intercept of these spheres on the wavefront are the concentric circles. Concentric circles as shown in the figure. Of radii of the circles are OM1. This O point is there. This is the O point, and this is the M1 point. Then OM2, OM3, and so on, OMN. These are the different radii of these spheres. So here this OM1 is nothing but the first half period zone. OM1 को कहा जाएगा. This is the annular portion. This is the circular portion. So this circular portion is known as the first half period zone. Then M1 and M2. This is the annular region. ये जो रीजन आपने को दिखाई दे रहा है ये पूरा सेकंड सर्कल का सेकंड सर्कल और फर्स्ट सर्कल के बीच में का इसको कहा जाता है दी सेकंड हाफ पीरियड जोन. देन दिस इज द थर्ड हाफ पीरियड जोन एंड सो ऑन. लास्ट वाला जो रहेगा वो nth सर्कल और n-1th सर्कल में का एनुलर रीजन रहेगा, सर्कुलर रीजन रहेगा, उसको कहा जाएगा nth हाफ पीरियड जोन. सो दीज आर द different zones. We have divided the incident wave.
हेलो
हाँ बोलिए. हेलो हेलो
सर तुमसे आवाज येत नाहीये.
अभी अभी आ रहा है क्या?
हाँ सर.
हाँ. So we have divided the incident wavefront ABCD into the different annular regions, and these annular regions are known as the first half period zone, second half period zone, third half period zone, and so on. Lastly, last circle is the nth half period zone. Why they are called the half period zone? Because there is a path difference of lambda by 2. You can see here from this. B plus lambda by 2, B plus 2 lambda by 2, B plus 3 lambda by 2, B plus n lambda by 2. These are nothing but the radii of these circles. And therefore, the waves which are from this point M1, M2, M3 and so on, these are reaching to the point P, and these waves are having the path difference of lambda by 2. Path difference of lambda by 2. Then the area enclosed by the first circle is called the first half period zone that I have told you, because there is a phase difference of pi or a path difference of lambda by 2 or time difference of t by 2 or half period between the light waves reaching the point P from the point O and M1. So the waves which are reaching the point P from the point O and M1, the path difference between the two is the M1P minus OP. It is equal to lambda by 2. दोनों में पाथ डिफरेंस कितना है अपने को यहाँ पे निकालना है. पाथ डिफरेंस बिटवीन द वेव्स which is reaching the point P, which is the point P here, this is the point P, and waves which are reaching the point P from M1 and O. M1 और O से जो waves secondary waves निकलेगी and they are reaching to the point P, इनमें का path difference अपने को निकालना है. कौन सा distance बड़ा है? M1P is the distance which is the greater and OP is the smaller. And therefore, M1P minus OP that will be equal to lambda by 2. Difference कितना है? यहाँ पे है B plus lambda by 2 and here B is there. If we obtain the difference, then path difference between these two waves reaching from the point reaching to the point P from the M1 and O is the lambda by 2. So that's why here I have written M1 into P minus OP, it is equal to lambda by 2. Similarly, the annular area enclosed between the second circle and the first circle is called the second half period zone because there is a phase difference of pi or path difference of lambda by 2 or time difference of t by 2 or half period between the light waves reaching the point P from the M1 and the M2. M1 और M2 से जो वेव्स निकलने वाली है सेकेंडरी वेव्स और जो P पॉइंट पे पहुंचने वाली है, दोनों में पाथ डिफरेंस कितना रहेगा? M2P minus M1P, it is equal to again lambda by 2. जो सक्सेसिव एनुलर रीजन से एनुलर एरिया है वहां से जो वेव्स निकल रही है और वो सेकेंडरी वेव्स पी पॉइंट पे पहुंच रही है, इनमें जो डिफरेंस पाथ डिफरेंस रहेगा वो कभी भी लैम्बडा बाय 2 का रहेगा. फेज डिफरेंस जो रहेगा वो पाई का रहेगा और टाइम डिफरेंस जो रहेगा वो टी बाय 2 का रहेगा. ओके, सो दीज वेव्स आर नॉट इन फेज. ये जो वेव्स रहने वाली है वो not in phase. Their path difference of lambda by 2 is there and therefore they are not in phase. So in similar manner, the annular area enclosed by the nth circle and n minus 1th circle is called the nth half period zone. So we have divided the plane wave front into the first half period zone, second half period zone, third half period zone, and so on up to the last is the nth half period zone. Now here we have to obtain the radii of the circle defining the half period zone. Radius of the circle अपने को यहाँ पे निकालना है जो हाफ पीरियड जोन को डिफाइन करता है. लेट OMN, MN is the last point. OMN is equal to Rn with the radius of the nth circle. From the figure, OMN square, it is equal to the MN P square minus OP. What is that? You can see from this. We have to obtain the distance. So we will obtain this distance by using the Pythagoras theorem. Here we have to obtain this is the Mn. MnP square, it is equal to MnO plus OP. Okay, ये distance अपने को निकालना है. It is nothing but the right angle triangle. तो right angle triangle का जो so this is the one side of this right angle triangle. This is the another side of the triangle. And this is nothing but hypotenuse of the triangle. So this hypotenuse is to be obtained by using the Pythagoras theorem that MNP square it is equal to OP square plus OMN square. So that we are obtaining it. OMN square it is equal to MNP square minus OP square. OMN a distance अपन निकाल रहे हो. So we get here OMN is nothing but Rn square it is equal to B plus n into lambda by 2 whole square minus B square it is equal to, if we solve this then we get NB lambda plus n square lambda square upon 4 because first term will be vanishing. इसका एक्सपेंशन करेंगे बाय यूजिंग द एक्सपेंशन करेंगे और उससे अपने को जो पहली टर्म है इसमें की वो रिमूव हो जाएगी. So we get here NB lambda in bracket 1 plus n lambda upon 4b. So since here lambda is the wavelength of light, b is the very large distance, and therefore lambda upon b, this is the small quantity, this is the large quantity. So small quantity upon large quantity we get a very small quantity as compared to the 1 and the n. As compared to the 1 and n is not a very large. Then the term n lambda upon 4b can be neglected. So we will neglect this term n lambda upon 4b in the above equation. Then we get Rn square is equal to NB lambda, and from this we get Rn is equal to square root of NB lambda, and from this we can obtain radius of the first half period zone is the R1 is equal to square root of B lambda. n की वैल्यू कितना है 1, n की वैल्यू 2 पुट करेंगे तो क्या मिलेगा R2 into under root of 2B lambda. When n is equal to 3 then we get Rn is equal to R3 is equal to under root of 3B lambda and so on. So from this we can it can be clear that the radii of the circle defining the half period zone are directly proportional to the square root of natural numbers, square root of n. ये डिपेंड है square root of n के ऊपर में. n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. Square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3 and so on. So this is nothing but the radius of circle defining the half period zones are directly proportional to the square root of natural numbers. Then after this we will obtain the area of the half period zone. Area of each half period zone अपने को यहाँ पे निकालना है. So sometimes the question may be asked on this, that obtain an area of half period zone and show that it is the constant. So for that purpose, in order to obtain the area, what we do? We will obtain the area of nth half period zone. Area of nth half period zone is the difference in the area of nth circle and the area of the n minus 1th circle. nth हाफ पीरियड जोन ये कैसे डिफाइन होगा? nth सर्कल और n माइनस 1th सर्कल जो रहेगा इनमें का जो बीच का पोर्शन रहेगा दैट इज नथिंग बट द एरिया ऑफ nth हाफ पीरियड जोन. तो nth सर्कल और n माइनस 1th सर्कल, एक सर्कल उससे कम, n से कम. तो एरिया Sn, I will call this area as a Sn of the nth half period zone. It is equal to area of the nth circle minus area of the n minus 1th circle. And what is the area? Area is equal to pi r square. So Sn is equal to pi Rn square. Rn is the radius of nth circle minus pi into Rn minus 1th square. So we get from this we get we will substitute the value of Rn and Rn minus 1. So if we substitute the value of Rn, then we get pi pi n b lambda minus pi into n minus 1. N is replaced by n minus 1. Then we get pi n minus 1 into b into lambda. Now, if we subtract this pi n b lambda, and here again there is one term of pi n first term and b lambda, that will be get cancelled, and we get the second term as this minus sign, and this minus sign become plus sign, and we get the pi b lambda, and here pi is the constant, b is the distance of the point P from the wavefront, and lambda is the wavelength of monochromatic light. So lambda is also the constant for the monochromatic light, and therefore area Sn is nothing but the constant. So from the equation 2, it is clear that all these zones are of equal area. सभी जो zones रहेंगे उन सभी zones का एरिया जो रहेगा वो इक्वल रहेगा, चाहे वो बड़ा सर्कल हो या छोटा सर्कल हो, उसका एरिया जो रहने वाला है वो कांस्टेंट रहने वाला है. Since Rn is proportional to the under root of n, because as n increases, क्या होगा? As n increases, the width of the zone decreases. Width of the zone जो रहेगी वो decrease होते जाएगी. Means separation between the two circle goes on decreasing as we move away from this. So I will make this clear with the help of the diagram. Diagram से ये आपको clear हो जाएगा. You can check that. यहाँ पे देखो क्या होने वाला है. जैसे जैसे n की वैल्यू बढ़ती जाएगी, ये OM डिस्टेंस से ज्यादा रहेगा, उसके बाद में M1 M2 डिस्टेंस कम हो जाएगा, देन M2 M3 डिस्टेंस कम हो जाएगा, एंड सो ऑन. Mn और n-1 का जो डिस्टेंस रहेगा वो कम रहेगा, so that the area of the circles will be the same or constant. Area remains constant. जैसे जैसे बड़ा सर्कल मिलेगा तो उसका जो विड्थ रहने वाला है हाफ पीरियड जोन का वो कम रहेगा. Okay. Now, after this, we will obtain the average distance of nth zone from the point P.
सर आवाज नहीं येत आहे.
Now, अभी आ रही? Hello. So here we will obtain the average distance of nth zone from the point P. Average distance निकालेंगे. Average distance will be the it will be clear from the figure that the average distance of nth zone from the point P is equal to Pmn. P पॉइंट जहाँ पे अपने को इंटेंसिटी निकालना है, और Mn पॉइंट जो ऊपर सबसे ऊपर वाला सर्कल है उसका पॉइंट है Pmn प्लस Pm n-1 डिवाइडेड बाय.
हेलो
हाँ हेलो, आवाज आ रही है?
सर.
So we will obtain the average of this distance, and that is nothing but Pmn plus Pm n-1 by 2, and we will substitute the values here, and after substituting the values we get the B plus b plus 2n minus 1 into lambda by 4. That is the average distance. And this is the very important topic, that fourth point is the resultant amplitude at the point P due to the entire wavefront. So here a resultant amplitude is to be obtained, and this can be asked in the examination. The resultant amplitude at the point P will be the algebraic sum of the amplitudes of the secondary waves reaching the point P from all half period zones. जितने भी हाफ पीरियड जोन्स है वहां से जो सेकेंडरी वेव्स निकलेगी, ऑल दीज सेकेंडरी वेव्स आर रीचिंग टू द पॉइंट पी, एंड वहां पे जो रिजल्टेंट एम्पलीट्यूड रहेगा वो रिजल्टेंट अपने को एम्पलीट्यूड निकालना है. तो दिस रिजल्टेंट
Hello.
हाँ हॅलो
सर आवाज येऊन नाही राहिला. हॅलो.
हाँ आ रही क्या आवाज?
येस सर.
So we have to obtain the resultant amplitude of the secondary waves by using the principle of superposition of waves. Here we will obtain that, we will assume that d1, d2, d3, d4 and so on dn be the amplitudes of the secondary waves from the point first, second, third half period zones and so on at the point P respective. अपन क्या assume करेंगे? D1 is the amplitude of the first half period, amplitude of the secondary waves from the first half period zone. D2 be the amplitude of the secondary waves from the second half period zone and so on. So D1 is greater than D2 is greater than D3 and so on D4. So amplitude goes on decreasing successively, and therefore the difference in the average distance of the point from the two consecutive half period zones is the lambda by 2, and therefore the phase difference in the secondary waves reaching the point P from the consecutive half period zones is the pi, and therefore these waves are the out of phase, and hence the resultant amplitude at the point P due to the entire wavefront is D is equal to D1 minus D2 plus D3 minus D4 and so on. Here last term is a minus 1 into n dn. So therefore yeah, प्लस माइनस ऐसा क्यों आ रहा है? बिकॉज कोई भी दो वेव्स लेंगे, सक्सेसिव दो वेव्स लेंगे, तो वहां पे फेज डिफरेंस जो रहने वाला है वो लैम्बडा बाय 2 का, पाथ डिफरेंस जो रहने वाला है वो लैम्बडा बाय 2 का रहेगा. मीन्स द टू वेव्स आर आउट ऑफ फेज, एंड व्हेन द वेव्स आर आउट ऑफ फेज वी गेट द रिजल्टेंट एम्पलीट्यूड एज d1 minus d2, maybe minus d2 plus d3 and so on. So with the help of that we can simplify it, and after simplifying it we get the resultant intensity. So I will write this the above term, above equation as d is equal to d1 by 2 plus d1 by 2. I have divided this d1 into the 2, d1 by 2 plus d1 by 2 minus d2 plus d3 by 2. ये d3 को फिर से डिवाइड करता हूँ दो पार्ट में, d3 by 2 plus d3 by 2 minus d4 as it is, then d5 by 2 plus d5 by 2 and so on. So we get, I have made here the brackets. These brackets are 0. These brackets are nothing but average of the this d2 is the average of the d1 and the d3. D4 is the average of d3 and d4 and so on. So here this the width of the first, second, third half period zones are continuously in decreasing order, and therefore numerical values are continuously decreases, and therefore we can obtain d4 is the average of the two, d6 is the average of the d5 and d7 and so on, and therefore each term in the bracket is 0. and therefore d is equal to d1 by 2 plus dn by 2 if n is odd, and d is equal to d1 by 2 plus minus dn by 2, d1 by 2 minus dn by 2 if n is even. n यदि इवन है तो दोनों में का माइनस आएगा, डिफरेंस सब्ट्रैक्शन का साइन रहेगा, और इफ n इज ऑड देन दोनों में प्लस साइन रहेगा. मीन्स इंटेंसिटी एम्पलीट्यूड इज द हियर मिनिमम, and in the if the n is odd, then amplitude is the maximum. So we get the maximum intensity and minimum intensity. So if n is large, then dn is negligibly small, then d is equal to d1 by 2. Here maximum amplitude is there, and maximum amplitude means maximum intensity. So resultant amplitude at a point P due to the entire wavefront is equal to the half of the amplitude of the first half period zone at that point. Since the intensity I of the is proportional to the square of the amplitude, and therefore I is equal to d1 square by 2. इसका स्क्वायर निकालेंगे तो इंटेंसिटी मिल जाएगी. So I is equal to d1 square by 4, and therefore the intensity will be the maximum. Intensity will be the maximum, means a bright band will be obtained. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe. So this is about all my today's presentation.